watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the North-South Racing League, the Madren Motorsports 100 from beautiful Darlington, South Carolina. For Ghostfire Media, I'm Josh Laston, and with me, as always, is Mr. Adam Wood. How you doing this week, Adam?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm loving here. Seeing these street stocks here at Darlington is looking like it's going to be a heck of a night here under the lights.
These cars, I ran a few test laps. Honestly, this track is going to be tricky. It's tricky in any vehicle, but these street stocks, honestly, I want to be out there running with them because it's going to be a blast for the guys on track, and it's going to be a blast for us here in the booth, and a blast for everyone out there on the internet to watch and just enjoy some great racing.
Yeah, these guys are slicing and dicing, and there's a lot of slide jobs happening here tonight. So I'm looking forward to see what these guys are going to do, if they're going to be able to do that in the race. Because they look like they're dropping down and clearing them and just lighting up the banking here in 3 and 4 on these guys.
And this is all we can really want to expect from a Darlington race. Close side-by-side action, and most of all, a whole lot of passing, and we're probably going to see a little bit of carnage, because as we see there in the background, Mr. Will Eastman, who is third on the board right now, he was a little unstable through 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys are still trying to go out there and run that quick lap right now and see who's going to be able to get by and who, and make that fine line of fast versus actually solid run. So I don't know if qualifying laps are going to be important right now.
I honestly think that there's going to be a lot of shakeups through the race tonight, and the one thing I'm really unfortunately having to deal with is iRacing has yet to figure out the proper way to make sure that Darlington stripe ends up on the outside of these cars. I want to see a little bit of red paint make it onto the side.
Yeah, man, these guys are hanging loose on that top line, going through 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2 is your more fast-paced corner. So these guys are hitting the bottom and trying to cut up, which it kind of slings you up to the outside wall in the middle of 2, and then you got to make that perfect run at the bottom. As we can see, they're running side by side. Gets a little squirrely off the turn 2 there, coming down back straight away. I mean, they're drafting like crazy going through here. And Bryan Hacker's holding that bottom line really well right now underneath Randy Nichols.
Well, and something that's going to be very entertaining to watch, and we'll go ahead and bring up just the race info for the night, get a little bit of information. The track temperature is 76 degrees, so it is a nice, cool night, though I would kill for 74 degrees right now for air temperature. But it'll come eventually, and then I'll start complaining about it. But 1 and 2, since it is the wider of the two turns, it's not going to be the most stable. If you are brave, you can go flat out. If you get the entrance to the turn right, there's no lift there. And it only gets better as the tires warm up.
Yeah, these guys are going to have to play the feather the throttle game here. In both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is the long feather the throttle. 1 and 2, you might have to burp the throttle just a little bit to get the car to lay down just right on your entry to turn 1, and then you can actually hammer the throttle and kind of force your way out of that one. But 3 and 4, it's your traditional way. You're going to have to kind of feather the throttle and kind of loop it back and forth just to be able to keep that car pointing in the right direction and not come around on you.
As practice is over, and don't worry, Ross, I realize it's beautiful in Florida, but give it 2 months and then I'll not be envious at all with your sweaty humidity.
Oh, it's terrible down there. The humidity is horrible.
All right, as we are getting ourselves good to go, Travis Hoffler is the first one out of the pits, so we will go ahead and hopefully not give him the commentator's curse. We'll go through his outlap here from the roll bar camera, and we can see these cars, the fastest line, it's depending on how brave you are. You can get yourself down to that white dotted line, but I think some of our fastest laps are definitely going to be from the guys hugging that wall. And then as we go into 1 and 2, you can see that they're going in low but swinging themselves up to the top wall, doing the same thing on exit. It's about as diamond as you can going through these turns. And as we're seeing the speed hanging up around that top line, trying to get the good exit coming out of the corner, stay off of the wall and just power it through. And that lap for Travis Hoffler was a 34.52, and we're starting to see other laps coming through, and we will go on and watch as Dante Curtis is going to make his first lap around, and let's see if he can beat Brandon Kleczinski, who is currently at the top of the 34.24. And he does, basically matching, but Dustin Shepard in the 89 manages to take over the top position out there on track with a 34.21. Tags the wall in 1 and 2, but he's still going to be at the top of the board. Justin Grosser in the 38 has managed to get himself up into second place. And Dante Curtis is looking to see if he can improve on his lap time. Will he be capable of getting himself up to the top of the board? He does improve, but only by 1/100th of a second, so that's going to put him in fourth. So let's see if we can find Ryan Johnson is out on his second lap. And he is trying to get himself out of 6th place. The one thing we haven't discussed is tonight, the invert of the field is 5 places. So he is 1 outside of that beautiful spot to get him to the front of this race.
Yeah, this is the lowest invert we've seen all season long. So far, it's, kind of been a detriment to qualify P1, but if you qualify P1 like Dustin Shepard is right now, it's only going back to 5th, so tonight's invert is not that detrimental to your race.
So right now, the 89 of Dustin Shepard is on the provisional pole will be starting 5th if things stay the way they are. Let's find somebody that's out on track. Here is the 51 of Jared Apel trying to get his second lap in. Right now he's only in 15th, and we'll see if he's able to improve to get himself just a little bit better. And with that lap, he improves to 10th. Not the greatest showing, but tonight could be one of those nights that it's not going to make a huge difference, because we may get to see a lot of slicing and dicing and potentially some cautions.
Yeah, and then, I mean, tonight, you know, you might get the Darlington stripe. These cars are very resilient. We've seen them all beating and banging, all dented up, but they continue to drive forward, you know, so that's a good thing about these cars. I mean, they're built like a tank. They can go out there and take a lot of damage, so hopefully the small Darlington stripes don't affect these cars much at all.
No, and they shouldn't. I would say the only oval car that can take more damage is the super late model, and those things can take some damage. All right, so we do have a few things that we should clear up before we get ourselves going. Looks like there's a field of 24, so there will be no last chance qualifying tonight. So it's going to be straight into the warm-up and let these guys get a little more practice in, and we will get you the starting grid once we get to that point. And Derek Line, yeah, I guess dirt cars really will take a bigger beating than these, but
especially the dirt stock cars, they're made to take even more of a brunt than these cars. But I mean, luckily, I mean, from our observation up here in the booth and being on the track, this new collision model that iRacing kind of came out with last week, we've seen some great improvements in racing capabilities of door-to-door racing without that wonderful phantom netcode getting in the way. It's still a little bit there, but I say it's been allowing for a lot closer races, so it's kind of nice to see.
Well, and then sometimes people still get into the back of you, and some people are good enough to not get turned.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you don't have that netcode bug where it really punch you, it gives you the actual push that you would have probably received. You can actually hang on to those pushes or bumps.
It is shoved. Lovely when that happens, because especially with this group that we have here, we have seen tons of great side-by-side racing, and occasionally it gets ruined by the netcode gremlins. I'm looking forward to seeing how much closer these guys can make it in situations that, you know what, it's just good hard racing that netcode would ruin everybody's good time.
Yeah. All right, so they're about 2 minutes into their 5-minute warm-up. These guys are kind of getting in the actual race trim on. They're trying to figure the car out. You know, a lot of their 1 hour practice that you get are dedicated to that one fast lap. So now they're trying to figure out race pace, like where do I need to go? You can't really find out that much in those 5 minutes, but they're going to try.
All right, before we get things started, let's go ahead and hear a little bit more about our title sponsor for the North-South Racing League, Cross Collision.
Cross Collision and Body is located in Minerva, Ohio, and specializes in returning your car back to its pre-accident condition. They work with all insurance companies to fix your car the correct way. For scheduling and questions, please visit their Facebook page or call the shop at 330-868-6011. J&G Hardwood Flooring is a small family-owned business which started in 2005, located in Christiana, Tennessee, and serves all of Middle Tennessee. Owners Josh and Brandon Kleczinski have a combined 35 years of experience to serve all of your flooring needs, from new construction, remodels, or even small repairs. For estimates and scheduling, call 615-904-2218.
And we are back. We have a little over 1 minute of the warm-up, and we come back to what is a great little battle with a little bit of a nudge there from Ryan Johnson, who's going to go ahead and bring it in himself. And apparently everybody and everywhere I go, we're going to see sparks. So let's avoid
They're just
that.
trying to get the Darlington stripe early during the warm-up session, so get it out of their system so they can not have it during the race.
Well, and that would be lovely that if we didn't have anyone end up with one, but I'm also going to say if you don't end up with that stripe, you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah, I mean, I've left with numerous Darlington stripes and crumpled cars here. So, I mean, we'll see what these street cars can do.
I mean, I'll be the first to admit I don't think I've ever finished a race at Darlington without a fast repair.
Yeah, you definitely need that. IVRL League, we don't run them, and yeah, I think mine was a crumpled beer car, but I think I finished the top 5 with it. I think everybody was kind of beat up, so it's kind of the battle of who had the less severely damaged car.
All right, as the warm-up is wrapping up right now, so that is going to give us our starting grid for the night. Dustin Shepard was our top qualifier for the night. Second was Justin Grosser. Third, Jeff Bergener. Fourth was Dante Curtis. Fifth, Brandon Kleczinski. Sixth, Ryan Johnson. Seventh, Will Eastman. Eighth, Randy Nichols. Ninth was Bryan Hacker. 10th, Jared Apel. 11th, Matt Dula. And 12th is Jordan Madren.
13th is going to be Devin Rogers. 14th will be Travis Hoffler. 15th will be Justin Rigsby. 16th is John Masterson. 17th is Gary Eschen. 18th is Josh Nelms. 19th is Philip Martin. 20th will be Adam Gable. 21st will be Jeff Mathis. 22nd will be Dan Janin. 23rd is going to be Robbie Clavey. And running out, 24th is Shane Loveridge.
And we are on our way to racing. These guys are going to go ahead and lead us around this beautiful 1.3 mile track. We're under the lights. According to iRacing, a capacity crowd here in beautiful South Carolina. And everybody is looking forward to an absolutely brilliant race, and it looks like Brandon Kleczinski, the recipient of the invert and the pole position, looks like he's starting on the outside, which is probably a good call starting here. But we've got two fans out there, one with a tiny horse, and second is Taz Motorsports. Just don't argue in the comments, guys, or go ahead, it'll amuse us and everybody else out there. Oh, wait, no, it's the same person. Dang it.
Yes, the same
Argue
person.
with yourself. But the lights are off, the pace car is in, and we are racing. And Brandon Kleczinski and Dante Curtis, these guys are stacked up beautifully. Dante gets himself up and into first position. He's going to have a clear track coming out. And I'm not a big fan, and we already have our first caution. Hey, that was very gentlemanly to where Bryan Hacker ends up getting himself up a little bit, but Jeff Bergener got a little bit of a tag there and then got himself straightened out. It's a gentleman.
Yeah, they definitely was able to kind of straighten that one out right quick.
And we'll take a look because right there, that was just side-by-side racing. Everybody's going straight now, so no need for the yellow flag to fly. Just let them go. But we can take a quick look, and it looks like the 21, according to race control, is going to end up with an EOL, so he is going to drop himself to the back of the field because it looks like he's the one that kind of caused that contact by coming up.
Yeah, he came over the radio and said it's all on him. He just floated up a little bit too high there. I got into him, but you know, instead of like them getting jerked around a lot, they just beat and banged and turned themselves, and then was able to straighten themselves back up. You know, iRacing's not used to that happening. It automatically see the yellow. They straightened back out. So, yeah.
I'm still gonna stick with that as just the gentleman thing to do, is make sure that, you know what, he may have come up to you, but it doesn't make a difference. Just go ahead, straighten him back out, and get back to racing. But we are on lap 3 of the night. We had 5 people go ahead and make their way into the pits. And honestly, it's the best path forward. You may have done just only the slightest bit of damage, but sometimes those 2 laps of racing can be the difference between a win and not.
Yeah. All right, we got Curtis was out there. So he likes all the drivers in here in this league, but he's going to pull for Dante Curtis. And then we got Austin Green out there cheering for legend Jordan Madren out there. So thank you guys for commenting for your favorite drivers.
And this is the Madren Motorsports 100, so the name's on the race. He's got to do well tonight. But the lights on the pace truck are off, so it is time to get ourselves back to racing. Everybody is back out on track. Luckily, that didn't collect anyone to end any nights. So we get ourselves stacked up side by side once again and ready to go back to racing. And the pace truck peels off, so the start is on Dante Curtis. He can take off whenever he wants. He's being a gentleman and waiting until he gets out of the turn to get himself going. But that was a great jump. That is going to give him the opportunity to run the racing line, followed by Dustin Shepard in second. And these two are going to go ahead and link up and get themselves pushed from the rest of the pack, and that's what that side by side is doing to the rest of the field. And right now, Dustin Shepard is just pushing Dante Curtis to the promised land, and we're going to go ahead and jump back because these two are linking up perfectly. But we'll take and see what's going on with the rest of the field as we're starting to see the 38 of Justin Grosser get himself down below the 98 going into turn 1. Looks like he may be able to get that pass done, and that's going to open it up for Ryan Johnson to get himself moved up into 4th position, and Jared Apel is trying to get himself back up to the front of this pack. He is up 5 positions from the start. He's running around that outside line trying to get himself up alongside Ryan Johnson, but that lower line is looking fast, and the 89 is around. That is not bringing out the caution. And that threw people off of their game just a little bit, as we're seeing the 51 of Jared Apel. He's getting a little bit loose there, trying to get himself down and around the 98. And 98 and the 51 tangle up. And we were in the exact right place for that one.
Yeah, and I was going back looking at the Dustin Shepard. Dustin just hit the outside wall with his right rear, and it slapped his front around, and then he just spun.
And yeah, just right there, that was the 51, just coming up a little bit, running as hard as they go through and come out of turn 2. There is a whole lot of concentration that's needed to keep that thing going straight, but only so much you can do as you're pushing that hard. We'll take a quick look back at what happened to the 89. Oh, just running that high line, just getting a little too aggressive on the outside wall, and oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, you know, you're just trying to run it. Hopefully that air bubble kind of pushes you away from it, and it didn't. The rear end made just a little bit of contact, which then brought the whole entire car there, and ultimately just spun him around.
And it looks like about half the field decided to go ahead and come into the pits. Doesn't look like it was really much of the top half, because no one's really showing up there at the end of pit lane. And now there they go. It's just, I forgot this is a very long pit lane. So we'll get to watch the race off, as right now we see the 69 of Randy Nichols, who was our EOL recipient for winning last week. He's working his way back up the field after having to start at the tail end.
Yeah, I mean, this was the week to do it. Last week was not the week to be starting at the tail end of the field like Ryan Johnson had to do after that win. So I think he's going to be in good spirits tonight here at Darlington, be able to work his way up from the rear, come up. He's got 4 fresh set of tires. It will be a little bit better than the top half. We got 24 drivers, 14 from 14th place on back actually went into the pit road. So top 13 stayed out.
And I can't say that I blame them. Most of these guys, they're up here battling. I don't think that 9 laps is really going to be too hard on these tires, and considering we're really only had about 7 laps worth of hard running. Darlington's not notorious for ruining tires unless you're pushing too hard and forcing the tires to be ruined.
Yeah, I mean, but it doesn't hurt if you're the 13th place or 14th place car and everybody follows you in. I mean, you don't lose any positions, and you got 9 laps fresher tires.
And we, as the pace truck is off, who knows when the next caution's going to come, and we may end up with green flag stops, and these guys have just that few extra laps to go. As Dante Curtis, again, the second he is out of that turn, he is off, and he is gonna go ahead and get himself clear. He's not gonna be able to get all the way up because Justin Grosser manages to keep him off of that top line. So this outside line may be able to carry a little bit of extra speed coming out of turn 2. Ryan Johnson is looking to see if he's able to get clear of that 38 down the backstretch. He's not quite there, so he's going to have to fight again. Kind of pushes the 38 up a little bit there.
Yeah, he's trying to do his best to drive him clean, but also aggressive, trying to get him cleared. He gets a good one on Dante Curtis. He looks, but he knows he won't be able to clear him before he gets to turn 1. Tucks it behind him, and around they go through it. Bryan Hacker's able to get past Justin Grosser for 3rd.
And they're looking like they're being hunted down by Will Eastman. We are at the point that things are starting to get a little bit single file, and these guys are just kind of settling in a little bit. We've had 2 early cautions. These guys want to get some laps in before we really start racing hard. But as we go back towards the back of the pack, this is Adam Gable and John Masterson going side by side, and then actually the battle right behind them also going very close, and I need to stop going back to people. And we have caution. That is the commentator's curse. To where that looked like that was the number 2 of Dan Janjanin right as we come back to watch this. Just catches the wall, trying to get himself off of it, and just a little bit of extra love right there.
Yeah, unfortunate. You know, got into a couple people right there while he was trying to catch the car. I mean, there's no place for them to go. They're running in the middle of the corner. Wrong place, wrong time.
And that brings us to caution number 3 of the night. And we will take this as an opportunity to hear from a few more sponsors of the North-South Racing League and the people that make this league possible. As oh, well, hold on. We're going to watch the race off of pit road first before we do that one. And all of the guys that did not come in the last time make their way in, as well as some that did come in.
Yeah, some of the guys that did come in, they were probably involved in that one right there. Might have got a little bit of damage, so you might not take tires here, but you might fix a little bit of damage.
Trying to get as much as you can. I would take the tires and fix what you can while you're in your pit box.
I mean, the biggest champion right now is Travis Hoffler. I mean, he's sitting up there on the pole in first position. As we've seen right now, the person that jumps out in front in that clean air starts to pull away pretty well.
And Dante Curtis is still sitting in his pit box. Not exactly sure what happened there, but he was definitely stationary for a little bit longer than everyone else. Judging by the tail of the tape, that was actually about 4 to 5 seconds longer than everyone else. But we will take a quick moment while we get around this pace lap to hear from a few more sponsors.
5 Star Realty Group is located on the Emerald Coast in beautiful Panama City, Florida. 5 Star Realty Group has years of experience in residential properties, investment opportunities, vacation rentals, and commercial properties, and looks forward to helping you with all of your real estate needs. Kelly's Custom Engraving is a locally owned and operated business located in Wellville, North Carolina, specializing in custom engraving of wood, leather, glass, acrylic, and many more materials. Be sure to like and follow their Facebook page to view all of their amazing products and place your order.
And we are back to live as we've got one more lap of caution. And Derek Line, we would love to argue with you, but that's not professional. I'm a very good person for that. It comes from the Italian heritage.
Oh, but man, these guys are got a handful here. The trucks, the pace car lights are off. They're starting to line up 2 by 2 now. Everybody's coming out of pit road. The whole entire field now has all 4 fresh set of tires. Yeah, I guess smart of the guys from 13th on back in the last pit stop to get the wonderful tires there on the last pit stop.
And I also forgot that Derek Line out there commenting in YouTube land, he is our race control for the night, so he's the one that gets to make all the hard decisions on who gets penalized when things go down, and I don't envy his job. However, I actually think it'd be a fun job. Occasionally. But the lights on the pace truck are off, which means we get to go back to green flag racing. We've got 17 laps in the books. And we are going to get ourselves hopefully back for a nice long run. Because once these guys settle in, we start to get to see those calculated moves. There's nothing better than getting to watch those kinds of things here at Darlington. And the pace truck is off, and we are getting ourselves ready to go. Travis Hoffler and Gary Eschen in the front row have not pitted. Travis Hoffler gets a great jump to start, and that is going to give him the opportunity to get himself up into the proper racing line. Gary Eschen is under pressure from two guys, and we have a tag. That's the 91 and the 46. The 46 manages to collect it. Philip Martin. That's going to keep us green, but when he gets himself back up onto the racing surface, he may be going 3 wide. He is, and now he has filed his way back in, and we'll get ourselves up to the front here, because right now Travis Hoffler and Gary Eschen, they've got about 4/10 as Gary is going to go ahead and throw one down going into turn 1. Gets himself a great run. The 20 is helpless. And right, Jared Apel, who has slightly fresher tires, but not the freshest tires in the field, is going to go ahead and push him to glory. Ooh, that's not glory. No.
I mean, did you see how everybody checked up in turn 1? Everybody closed the gap, but then was hard on the brakes because these guys were racing side by side here up front for the lead. And I mean, Jared Apel was trying to push the 23 of Gary Eschen up there, but almost spun him.
And right now the 91 comes in, gets a little bit of the 51. All right, these guys are going hard, but now we're keeping it clean while we're doing it. So let's jump back here. The 21, involved in an early incident, has managed to get himself back up here into the conversation for the top 5. Currently is running in 5th, but has the line down below the 91 as the 20 is up into the wall, and these guys are trying to keep clear and try to keep the run. That is going to give the 11 of Bryan Hacker an opportunity to get past the 91. He's followed by Ryan Johnson. This low line is moving. It's moving fast and leaving guys just behind, and this happens to be all those guys that came in at lap 14 at the beginning of that last caution. They're all starting to make moves, and tires are seeming to be key
one on the
here.
wall right there. One spinning down low.
That
the
is
17.
the 17, the 38, the 20. Oh, good Lord, these guys are just getting real racy, and we're only 22 laps into this race, and it seems like, I don't know, did these guys just kind of figure out the best way to start catching, or is it just where these contacts are happening?
Yeah, I'm not understanding. These guys are having some really fast closing rates right now. Some people who would figure out how to get in the corner very well are having too fast of closing rates for these guys that aren't getting in the corner as well. So it's good to see up here in the booth, though. I don't have been driving.
No, I wouldn't either, as we're sitting here watching the battle between the 68 and the 69, and the last week's
we're going to battle for the lead.
Oh, do we? Oh, yes,
Side
we
by
do.
side.
We've got some side-by-side up here at the front. The top 4 are all running side by side. Ryan Johnson is trying to get himself into the mix as well, but the 21 of Jeff Bergener is trying to get himself around the 23 of Gary Eschen, and that's starting to close up this little pack. As Jared Apel, he's pushing hard to where we're starting to see a little bit of squirrely on his entry into the corners, and right now the 38's trying to get himself down below Ryan Johnson. That's going to make the entry into this turn just as sketchy as it possibly can be. And I mean, these guys are going to kill me tonight.
He looks like he's trying to do what the pros do and drop it really low there, driving into turn 3. Just the iRacing model does not emulate what the real world drivers do. They normally drop it down below that dotted white line in turn 3 and 4 and make an extra lane or 2 down there. But it doesn't work that way in iRacing. You lose so much. As you could tell, the 38 dropped back pretty significantly after doing that.
All right, our top 10 right now are within a second of each other. as we're starting to see 3 wide down the front stretch as Jared Apel gets himself up into 3rd place. Bryan Johnson has that low line. The 17 of Matt Dula is making an appearance tonight, but the battle for the lead is side by side. It looks like they're trying to touch. They could reach out and turn each other's mirrors if they wanted. And that's going to continue for a full lap. The 11 of Jeff Bergener is getting himself up to the front. And we're starting to see a little bit of scraping going on back in the battle for 5th place as Matt Dula and Gary Eschen, they're trading back and forth. The 17 gets himself down below the 51. But we have a 3-way battle up here at the front. Ryan Johnson is trying to push Bryan Hacker, and now he's moving to the outside lane. He's going to get his bumper up onto Jeff Bergener. He's just going to go. He's trying to figure out which horse he wants to back, get a good push, and try to get up there, as it looks like they're going to leave that outside line out to dry. The 11 chops off the 21's nose, and Ryan Johnson is going to use that as his opportunity to get himself up into the lead of this race. They're rubbing door handles right there, and Jared Apel gets nudged out of the way by the 17.
Oh, we got one going down. Somebody dropped down there on the back straightaway coming out of turn 2.
That is Randy Nichols, and we'll take a quick look at that. If this ever, the 23 is into the wall, and Gary Eschen is dropping like a rock to where I can't even grab him, but we stay green. And oh, let's see if this is going to keep going here, because this is a great side-by-side battle. These Hoosiers have come into their own. They're warm and extra sticky, but we only have 4 cars in this lead pack right now.
I have to commend Gary Eschen there. He saw himself getting in trouble there and kept forcing his car to the outside wall, trying to get off everybody. So,
but that little bit of a move did create a little separation to where we have a breakaway pack of 4 cars, and Ryan Johnson slides up a little bit, manages to catch it, but he may have gotten a little bit on the 11 there, but that's going to open up the door for the 51 to get himself down below, heading into turn 2 or 3. That's 3. And we'll see. Is Jared Apel going to be able to get the job done, or is that extra momentum from the outside line? It looks like that's going to keep the 3 in 2nd place. But we're starting to see Justin Grosser with all of the action that's going on in front. Him and Will Eastman are right on the perfect line to get themselves up to Matt Dula and start battling for this lead. And we'll take a quick jump back if I can. We're well past that, but it also looks like John Masterson had an issue. Let's take a quick look. Oh, that's just slapping the wall, and given where he was, that made it to where there was not a caution, but that car has seen better days.
yeah, iRacing won't throw a caution unless you're actually in the driving lane. And Darlington here provides a lot of apron here all the way around the whole entire track. And most people, when they do wreck, they drop and slide all the way down out of the racing groove. And iRacing does not throw a caution for that. And man, the leaders right now are slicing, dicing. Ryan Johnson gives Bryan Hacker a heck of a shove going down this front straightaway.
And these guys, after a little bit of sketchiness to start this race, we've settled in and let the tires get their wear in, and it looks like Ryan Johnson's trying to hold on. Let Bryan Hacker lead this race, and we're gonna jump back as we're starting to see
car on the wall.
A little bit of slicing and dicing back here amongst this group, to where Dante Curtis is now leading this little bit of a breakaway pack. This is the battle as the 31 of Justin Rigsby drops out after slapping the wall. But the 89 of Dustin Shepard's trying to get himself back up to the front. Him, Dante Curtis, and Devin Rogers, these guys, teammates linking up, trying to push each other back up to this lead pack and see what they can do to get themselves back into the conversation for the lead of this race.
I mean, these guys are settling in. We're only on lap 35 here, 75, so we still have a long ways to go. People just want to finish the race, so it looks like they are kind of settling down. Everybody's finding a drafting buddy so they can go, bumper to tail and try to push this front pack away from everybody else.
Well, and if they can do that, it would be great, but I really look for this pack. They're syncing up well, but they are losing time to 7th place, which is Jeff Bergener. And we'll go ahead and take a quick look. This is from the bumper of the 21. We're starting to see a little, they're definitely fading a little bit into the distance.
Yeah, it looks like they're losing about a 10th a lap right now on this front pack. They're losing the draft. This track is really draft heavy for these street stocks. As
we have to jump back up to the front as Ryan Johnson is taking over the lead of this race, and these guys are starting to get racy once again as we have Jared Apel trying to push Ryan Johnson up and around Bryan Hacker, and they're trading back and forth which car is in the lead. And coming out of turn 4, it's going to stick with Bryan Hacker, and that outside line coming through 3 and 4, it's going to be where you want to be.
Yeah, you can get the best run and be on the outside line there. Ryan Johnson sticks his nose right back inside behind Bryan Hacker. And they sort everything back out. No harm, no foul. Nobody gained anything, nobody lost anything.
Well, as we start to see the 17 of Matt Dula, he was thinking about trying to make a move on Jared Apel. Thinks against it. But with how this group is lined up right now, they are starting to just tear away to where right now, 8th place in the lead of this second pack. The gap is 2.6 seconds and increasing.
Yeah, even when they were running side by side up front, they were still losing at about a 10th a lap. So these guys, they're going to have to do a little bit more to be able to catch up to them.
And we are seeing a lot of separation in packs where we've got this 5-car pack, which is trying to chase down the leader. We have Travis Hoffler, who is running alone right now. And that was not where I wanted. Right now we have this 3rd pack but 4th group led by Philip Martin, followed by Adam Gable, Josh Nelms, Jeff Mathis. These guys, they're just trying to keep themselves on the lead lap right now. And then after that point, we have a lot of guys that are running around lapped, but still in the race. Shane Loveridge, Robbie Calavey, who is being currently caught by the 98 of Brandon Kleczinski, who's
in the wall.
I need to stop
doing
that.
This is Darlington stripe. But what I'm looking forward to is green flag pit stops. Darlington has a more of a unique pit road entry. It is very wide, very approachable, and from multiple different angles. There's no wrong or right way to get into the pit road here. You can drive it a lot deeper in the middle 3 and 4 and try to slice it down. You can drop down to the apron, hit the wall, and try to hug the wall all the way around. So many different ways and so many different avenues to approach this. I want to see how people attack it.
And then there's me who still can't figure it out. But we have this lead pack is starting to find their way up to lap traffic, so that's going to throw a little bit of a wrench into this evening for us. So we'll have to wait and see how they navigate it, to where I do believe this is John Masterson that they're closing in on. And we'll have to wait and see. Are some people going to start thinking about maybe making a pit stop? And John Masterson gets himself down very low coming out of turn 4. And he's currently running well below that low line, to where this group is going to go ahead, get by cleanly. We don't have any kind of an incident, as we are well past halfway in this race. But will these guys need to make the stop?
And so when that lap car was coming around, I was watching Ryan Johnson, who was sitting at second, and he was looking, he like poked his nose out to see where he needed to go, see where Bryan Hacker was going to, come in contact with this lap car. And I think he was trying to figure out how can he use this lap car as a pick, until he saw him kind of get out of the racing line, drop all the way back down. So, I mean, that's what we're going to have to look at for later if we catch up to some more lap traffic, is using the car as a pick, trying to get by them.
And they have quite a distance before they reach the next of the lap traffic. As we see the 51 get a little bit loose, we got the 17 of Matt Dula into the wall, getting his stripe for the night. That's going to open up the opportunity for Will Eastman to get himself up into the top 5 for the night. The 21 of Jeff Bergener, who's back 4 positions from the start, is going to find his way back up. He's hanging on to this lead group quite well, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and find his way in. Jared Apel is diving into the pits,
and he missed it.
He misses.
That's what I'm saying. This is a tricky pit road, and that's what I want to watch, to see people try to dive into it and trying to push the limits, and he misses it, which is going to cost him at least probably 6-7 seconds on his competition,
if not more. I think the bigger thing that he's probably shooting himself on is that could be the difference between a win and a top 10. As we see Ryan Johnson start to look down below Bryan Hacker. He can't quite get himself up there, but he has the 89 of Dustin Shepard right there. He has been into the pits, to where as long as he can get himself up to speed, he should be able to hold himself in front of these guys. But it looks like they are not going to give him any space. They're going to have to run that lower line. That's going to make it to where that exit is going to be terrible. That's going to give Ryan Johnson the outside lane if he has the opportunity to go ahead and sit there and give the great push. But he actually ends up, that push becomes a pick, and Bryan Hacker retains the lead, but Justin Grosser is looking like he's going to go ahead and try to take advantage of that slow from that front row.
I mean, we see cars coming in pit road right now, that having that car 89 being out there, I was Ryan Johnson, I would have drove it down the pit road and come out and clear traffic hopefully, and trying to beat up the competition. That one lap extra might give them a couple tenths that would lead them in front of Bryan Hacker.
As we are starting to see everyone make their way in, we only have the top 8 right now, as Justin Grosser's poking a nose down below Ryan Johnson. He is trying to make something stick, as Ryan Johnson looks a little loose right there. Manages to hold on, has a great run right now on Bryan Hacker. He's going to give him a nudge to try to get himself clear of any threat from the 38. Maybe gives him a little bit of a bump there to try to get the nose down below coming out of turn 2. And that is going to ruin the exit. He's clear, but the 38 is very low on his pit entry. And
slides the tires.
He's making sure he's not missing that.
But I mean, he still pulled for it. I mean, he was sliding his tires going. The car was drifting sideways as he was making that pit entry.
And that is going to make it to where right now we have 6 cars who have not pit at this point, including
Brian's
our leaders.
coming in. Bryan is coming in this lap.
And will Ryan Johnson join him? No, he's going to go for that lap lead. And that is drifting if I have ever seen it. And oh, it looks like John Masterson may have had an issue, but he ends up towing before we end up having caution. But right now, our leader is Ryan Johnson. He has his lap lead. Now are we going to see him make his way into the pits? Or is he going to go ahead and stay out, hoping that maybe he'll get that magical caution? No, he is on his way in. He's coming in hot. Drifts it around the corner and almost flirts with the barrels. But right now, Jordan Madren is on his way in. Justin Rigsby. So on pit exit right now, 13 of Will Eastman. He's going to sit there and be battling Dustin Shepard, who pit many laps ago, is going to take over the lead of this race with 21 to go when he crosses the stripe. I'm wondering, the pit strategy is going to win this race.
He's short pitted, so let's see how it works. We got a few other cars right now in pit road.
And right now, Bryan Hacker is showing as the leader, and
7 seconds out.
He's 7 seconds in front of Dustin Shepard. But will he will not be able to close that gap. Ryan Johnson is also clear.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson's coming out of turn 2 right now.
And that is going to be a race. Bryan Hacker is closing in. I have no idea what's going on here, because normally when you go in a lap earlier, you're going to come out in front.
Darlington's pit road, that's what I'm saying. This pit road entry makes it or breaks it, because the way you tackle the pit road entry is it could be monumental to carry enough speed or lose enough speed to win or lose this race. Ryan Johnson played it perfectly. He threaded the needle, slid the car around almost there, and was able to gain some valuable time there over the race leader, Bryan Hacker, to come out first.
And they're coming up on lap traffic, but I have a feeling these two are going to end up linking up, as we will go on the rear bumper of Ryan Johnson. He has Bryan Hacker right now by 0.6, but I would not be surprised if he manages to close that down quickly.
I don't know the drafting bubble here. Like, where do you feel the tow? If so, we know the closing. Oh, we got Adam Gable right there. He drops down. He was able to catch it right in front of the leader. He's going to drift up. Ryan Johnson's going to get by him. But like I said, I don't know the drafting bubble here. I don't know where it affects these drivers. Is Bryan Hacker outside of that drafting bubble?
And right now I'm going to go ahead and take a quick jump, because Dante Curtis was given a little bit of a nudge to the 21. I don't know if that was a, hey, get moving kind of nudge, or this is a let's work together to go faster kind of nudge.
I mean, at this point, I mean, it's got to be a let's do this. I mean, we still got 18 laps to go. This is not a time to be too hasty. But you need to work with somebody to get yourself up there using this the little bit of draft we have here.
As we'll also jump right here, we've got the battle for third. This is Will Eastman and Justin Grosser. These two are teammates to where they're probably just going to try to work together to get themselves to close down that 7-second gap that they have in front of them. With only 17 laps to go, it may be a moot point, but sometimes you just need to try to save a little bit of face. But we'll get right here as we have a group of three starting to form up, to where this is the 21 of Jeff Bergener, the 03 of Dante Curtis, and the 68 of Jordan Madren.
I mean, you never know when somebody's going to reach out and get that Darlington stripe and drop back there. So, I mean, you have to push it every single lap, even though you got a 7-second gap. That Darlington stripe can take away that 7 seconds in a heartbeat.
But it also looks like if we jump back up here, Will Eastman, Justin Grosser, these guys are catching some lap traffic. And we have an incident, and perfectly timed, to where that right there, that is the last thing that Ryan Johnson wanted to see in the lead of this race.
The very last thing.
And SDK missed that.
Yeah, it was with Jeff Mathis. I don't even see them getting past.
Oh.
Maybe.
Well, considering it was right in front of these guys. Time to cheat. And, oh yes, these guys. It looks like the 25 just drifts up just a little bit into the 8. And race control agrees with that one, to where the 25 is going to end up with the EOL for that one. And let's see who all's going to be brave and go ahead and jump into pit lane. It looks like we only had 3 that decided to take it. And that is the 89, the 51, and 46. All decided to jump into pit lane, but Ryan Johnson retains the lead. And let's hear from a few more of the sponsors for the North-South Racing League.
Track Time Entertainment is located in Texas and builds custom driving simulators with a personal touch. Rigs are fully customizable with color options and utilize 80/20 US extruded aluminum. These rigs offer a wide range of adjustability, as well as different options for wheels, shifters, and keyboards. The possibilities are endless. If you can dream it, Track Time Entertainment can build it for you. RC2 Race Promotions is an iRacing event planning and coordination service. If you have an idea for a special one-off money race but don't have the time to handle all the legwork, RC2RP can help. We offer event conception, planning, day-to-day operations, and race event services to cover all of your needs. We are competitively priced and offer detailed services to make sure you get the most bang for your buck. To inquire, visit us on Facebook.
And we are back, and topic of conversation, I hate it when I'm in Ryan Johnson's shoes when something like this happens.
Yeah, I think he cleared it. I think it was about a 1.2. He was pulling away from Bryan Hacker there. Draft had nothing to do with it. Bryan Hacker couldn't sniff it, and that allowed Ryan Johnson to kind of sneak away there. And I mean, all that time, valuable track position is gone.
As a driver, this is the last thing I ever want to see. As a broadcaster, bring me the action.
Yeah, I mean, the fans in the seats are about to get their money's worth here. We're going to have about maybe I say 11 lap shootout here. Hopefully we'll go green to the end from here, but you know, that old saying, caution creates caution. So let's see what happens.
Honestly, I don't think that that's going to be the case. These guys have enough laps in the pack under their belt to where things are going to be relatively calm.
But
that doesn't mean there won't be slicing and dicing.
we're not at lap 10. We're at almost 10 to go. So different mindset here.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. Do I want to see anyone get wrecked? No, but do I want to see wheel-to-wheel action? You bet I do.
See some lug nut to lug nut, door handle to door handle.
And these guys have provided it all night tonight with 11 laps to go as we cross the line. It's time to get back to racing, with Ryan Johnson going to be controlling the restart. He's on that low line, which is probably the best place to be to get a great launch. We'll see how early he wants to go. And he's waiting. This is much longer than anybody else has gone, but he is off, and that's going to give him just enough room to get around the 11, get himself up onto that top line. The 11 is getting a great push from the 38. Will Eastman's taking advantage of those two linking up, getting himself down onto that low line. Justin Grosser drops down behind him. The 11 is looking to take all of that momentum from that top line, keep himself up in second place, because Ryan Johnson did get a great start there. But Will Eastman is trying everything in his power to get a great run coming out of turn 4. He's not quite going to do it, but right now, a car we have not seen up at the front for quite a while, that 03 of Dante Curtis, is trying to get himself out around that outside line, get himself the great run coming out of turn 2, get himself around Justin Grosser. He gets a little loose coming out of the corner, which causes a little bit of a swerve from the 38. But that's going to give the 03 the opportunity to get around the 21 of Jeff Bergener. Is right up in the mix once again. And we're seeing some blinking from Dante Curtis as we are coming to 9 laps to go. Ryan Johnson's getting an amazing push from Bryan Hacker, trying to get himself up and a little bit clear of the chaos that's starting to form behind him.
And right now, you're Bryan Hacker sitting in second. You see the runs, like you see the closing rate of Will Eastman there in third. You want to try and make a move, but you're also hesitant because any move you make, you can lose your spot in any given second. As we see, Dante Curtis makes a little bit of mistakes and goes from basically 4th to 7th.
And we're seeing the charge of Jeff Bergener. He is making up spots as quickly as he can. We have 8 laps to go as we are starting to see the slicing and dicing as the 13 of Will Eastman gets himself down below Bryan Hacker. He's being followed right there by Jeff Bergener, who's trying to get himself into the right position. Him being right on the bumper of the 13, the 3 drops down to give a little bit of a draft to the 13, trying to get a better run. Ooh. And we see a little bit of contact between the 13 and the 11. The 11 manages to keep it straight to where no caution, but that is going to call the end of the night for the 38 of Justin Grosser. And now it's the battle for second place, 13 and the 21. The 13's getting a little bit squirrely coming through 3 as he is going to try to bring this one home after a little bit of contact with the 38 to send him to the back, and Josh Nelms is wrecked. We'll take a quick look to see what happened right here, as there's a little bit of a lull, probably not much. Oh, the 01 just gets a little bit of a nudge, drops down to the apron. Oh, that's a little more than a nudge. But we're going to get ourselves back up here as Jeff Bergener and Will Eastman are going side by side, going down the front stretch. It's going to be who's braver going into turn 1. The 21 has an amazing entry into the corner, and right now he's starting to get some help from the 51 of Jared Apel, who has managed to get himself back up into the conversation. and is trying to push the 21 as far as he can. Now the 31 and the 03 have joined the mix. Will Eastman goes a little bit into the wall, and that's going to shake things up even further as we cross the line with 4 laps to go. I just can't.
Yeah, the closing rate is ridiculous here, and then we're over here just seeing massive battles just form out of nowhere. 51's there. We got Justin just get door slams to 13. They're rubbing each other going into turn 3 here.
And that little bit of gamesmanship right there gives the 31 the position, gets the 03 up one more to where Dante Curtis is now up into 5th place. And Ryan, the person that's taking advantage of all of this, is Ryan Johnson, who's our leader, followed by the 21 of Jeff Bergener. 3rd is Jared Apel. 4th is Justin Rigsby, up 11 spots. And then in 5th is Dante Curtis.
Justin Grosser just doored Bryan Hacker into the wall there.
And as we cross the line with 2 to go, Ryan Johnson, and we have another wreck. Jordan Madren and Philip Martin involved in a wreck and no caution. So we've got 2 laps to go. We have half a track before the white flag and no more cautions. So we're starting to reach desperation point. And there it is. As Gary Eschen goes off track. Let's see if that's what causes it. And oh, how does that not show up as a wreck to where he and Philip Martin connect?
I think Philip Martin was just sitting there in the track.
Let's take a quick look. I'm looking for you right now, as there's the wreck at the beginning there, and these guys slam the inside wall. And as they're trying to get themselves back and moving, this is Philip Martin, who's, it looks like that right tire isn't even moving. And as he gets himself into one, oh, just leaves no room for Gary Eschen. And we are under caution. And all right, Adam, we've got ourselves a green-white checker. Means 2 more laps of racing. And this is the second least favorite thing I have in racing, is knowing you were not even a half a lap away from that white flag.
And the hard part about it is, now 21 Jeff Berger's been strong all night. He was able to go through the pack here and almost run down Ryan Johnson those closing laps there. I don't know if he would have been able to get by him, but he was the only one that's really chasing back up to him during all those battles. So this is not what Ryan Johnson wants to see, but he also knows there's only one green-white checker here. So he just has to keep his nose out in front of everybody else. And then if a caution flies, he wins the race.
And I'm somewhat amazed at the number of people that stayed out of the pits. If I'm 5th place or further back on the lead lap, I'm going in, getting a set of new tires, and I'm on my way to try to fight and use those brand new tires to get myself to the front.
Well, we saw that the last caution that we had, only 3 people came in. You would think that, you know, the people that came in were like, all right, I'm going to come in, I'll bring the back half of the field in with me so I won't lose any spots. We'll be able to do this. And only 3 people out of the, I think probably about 12 people on the lead lap actually came in, so I put them in a bad spot.
And unfortunately, as a driver, I've pit from the lead in a situation where I think everyone's going to come in and I was the only person.
Yeah, we had a teammate recently just do that, bluest chance of winning. So, you know, it's a gamble you take. You think everybody else might follow you in, and then while you're the only one sitting on the pit road, it's very lonely.
And we are getting ourselves, it looks like they're starting to get themselves side by side, which means we are about to get one to go, and we are gonna go racing for 2 more laps. And oh, this has been a race that these guys have not shied away from racing hard. I don't know if my heart can take these 2 laps.
I mean, I'm glad there's only one green white checker here. You know, a lot of action tonight, a lot of door-to-door racing, a lot of sliding, and pushing, not much giving. So I'm glad there's one, and hopefully Ryan Johnson is able to keep his nose out there and capitalize here on this win that he thought he was going to have multiple times so far.
And he's done everything right to this point. But the one thing I can say tonight is the pace truck is off. Jeff Bergener has just been there all night, and Ryan Johnson wastes no time getting himself moving. The 3 gets himself completely clear of the 21. The 51 is getting himself right in the right position. He has himself set up perfectly to where right now there's going to be a battle between the 21 and the 51 and the 31, to where Ryan Johnson, if he can just get himself clear, get this white flag. Actually, you know what?
He doesn't care.
He doesn't
wants
care.
a flag.
If he gets that yellow flag as the 21 is getting his nose down below, he has a fantastic run as we are on the final lap of this race. The 3 is under pressure from the 21. 51 looks like he's going to get himself a great run coming out of the corner, but he gets the door slammed on him, and the 21 is around. That is going to give the 51 the opportunity to get around. Dante Curtis is going to follow him, Will Eastman. But Ryan Johnson holds on to the lead and takes the win tonight at Darlington.
Oh man, it's not what Jeff Bergener we wanted to see there. Just hard battling, cars everywhere, and just misjudged it there.
And that was a finish.
Yeah, very exciting last 3 laps there. These guys put us on edge all the night here. These guys provided great entertainment for both the fans at the virtual track here and for everybody out there in the virtual world.
As Ryan Johnson almost gets turned by Jordan Madren, going across, getting himself up into victory lane, and let's go ahead and run through our finishing order for the night. Our winner tonight from Taz Motorsports is Mr. Ryan Johnson. Second is Jared Apel. Third, Dante Curtis. Fourth, Will Eastman. Fifth is Justin Grosser. Sixth, Dustin Shepard. Seventh is Jordan Madren. Eighth, Josh Nelms. Ninth is Travis Hoffler. 10th is Adam Gable. 11th, Justin Rigsby. And 12th is Bryan Hacker.
13th is going to be Jeff Berringer. 14th is Jeff Mathis. 15th is Robbie Claby. 16th is Shane Lovebridge. 17th is Devin Rogers. 18th is Brendan Kleczinski. 19th is Philip Martin. 20th is Gary Eschen. 21st is going to be Matt Dula. 22nd is John Masterson. 23rd is Randy Nichols. And rounding out the top 24 will be Dan Jan Janet.
All right, it's time for us to go ahead and have a quick chat with our leader, Mr. Ryan Johnson. Sir, I have to know, were you just ready to punch people when that last caution came out?
Or any of the last few cautions.
Yeah, that last one really, it was close. We were the second to last one, I think, helped us because we were going to make it on fuel. But that last caution, I think coming to green on the green white checkered, we had 6-7 tenths left in the tank. And everybody in After Dark is like, "Oh, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. Let us know when you start sputtering." And I'm like, "Oh, we're going to see." And then, ran out coming across the line and got into one. Oh, man, it was so close. It was a lot more fun than I thought it'd be. Darlington, so tough to pass, even in these things. I thought it'd be a little bit different. Like, I thought it'd be even racier than it was. But overall, it was still a lot of fun.
I don't know how much you got to see being in the seat, but there was slicing, dicing, and just, all around chaos from our seat. But after we got the first few cautions out, it was organized chaos.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a couple of them in my rear view. I was thankful to be ahead of most of them. I think one early one we almost got caught up in, but we were able to miss it. Yeah, it was tough to pass here. You either had to set someone up and they had to give you a lot of room on the bottom because it seemed nobody wanted to give up the top line, and you had to like slide job them in 3 and 4 or get a really good run coming off of 2 and try and get it down the backstretch. It was pretty chaotic.
Well, I think we're just about out of all of the oddball tracks for the street stocks. Next week, we're going to Thompson, back to good old-fashioned short track racing in the street stocks. How do you feel having to start it from the back?
To be perfectly honest, I was thinking about not winning tonight because of that next week. It's going to be really, really difficult coming from the back to the front on these short tracks, especially with our group of guys. I don't know. I'm glad I got the bonus points tonight, and we're just going to do our best like we always try to. Even when we start at the back, we just slowly make our way forward if we can, and got to take the opportunities when they arise.
Well, I was just reminded by race control that we do have Bristol dirt still.
Oh yeah, we have one more dirt race. That one's probably going to be just as chaotic as USA was, if I had to guess.
Yeah, but it was fun.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, the Bristol Dirt's going to be a challenge for everybody in this field. I don't know, like it's one of those tracks that they threw out there, kind of be a gamble. It's not a true dirt track the way it's supposed to be, but it, in some cars it can be fun. I don't know about these street stocks, but we'll figure this out when we get to it.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll burn that bridge when we cross it.
Well, I do have to congratulate you on a great win tonight. It was the perfect strategy and just another night of extending that points lead.
Yeah, that's what we needed. We need to get as many bonus points as we can. I know Dante, he ain't ever going to give up. I know Hacker ain't going to give up. He was racing us like hell there throughout this race. I had a real tough time passing him, so it's going to be interesting for these next however many races we got left.
I was going to say, I think we are down to, all right, we have 7 left for the season. And again, we have that one strange one in there to where we've got some dirt, so that should probably throw us off, and we won't talk about Langley.
Oh, good. I don't want to talk about that place either. That's probably my worst track. If I had to pick one, I think that would be one of my worst ones. But hopefully we can get a good run. I don't know. You never know. Anything could happen.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, once again, congratulations on this wonderful race win tonight. It was very challenging for you to get this one taken care of. But like Josh said, you extended that points league, man.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Just want to give a shout out to you guys up in the booth for broadcast and all the admins at NSRL. All the sponsors we got, J&G Hardwood, Kelly's Custom Engraving, Track Time Entertainment, 5 Star Realty. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody. Feel like it's been a while. Family, friends, everybody tuning in, all our competitors out there. Yeah. See y'all next week, hopefully. Hopefully we talk to you.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
User was moved out of your channel.
Onward to our second place finisher who
User was
had
moved to your channel.
a lot of runs up to the front and manages to get himself second. Mr. Jared Apel, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
You gave us a lot of entertainment throughout the course of the night. How does it feel to get that podium?
It feels good. I feel bad for Brandon at the beginning. I just got on, to the apron and overcorrected and wrecked us. I hate doing that, but there's nothing I could. I was trying my hardest to get up front, and it just happens sometimes.
Man, you were up there. You were in the back. You're all over the place tonight, man. You had a fast car. We see you drive through the field, and just mistakes happen. What was your take on the closing rates on these cars? I mean, we could see you get a huge run and then close really quickly in these corners.
Yeah, it was. If you were leading, it was. You obviously don't have a draft, but. Second place, you couldn't really get by the person anyways unless you pushed them out of the way, which is, not the way we usually race, which kind of sucks. But yeah, the closing rate was pretty quick, and you'd have to really back it down coming into the corners. Otherwise, you were going to hit the person in front of you, and the person behind you just got to check up even more. And it was a lot of checking up.
You seem to be one of the people who was pushing it a little bit harder than everyone else. I enjoyed watching it, but it seemed like I ran test laps and realized that these cars could get away from you really quickly. What were your thoughts on just keeping the car under control and still being fast?
Well, this is kind of a unique track. 1 and 2, you could pretty much hold it to the wood. If you had a little bit of room in front of you, if you had people ahead of you, you had a checkup going in. But otherwise, you could run it straight to the boards. And 3 and 4 was, a little bit let off and run it high and get back in the gas. But as the tires wore, it got really hard to hold on to it up off of 4. And obviously, my tires were worn out, and I had to come in for the green flag pit stop. I missed it, and then I had to drive around, and then I was just kind of in the middle of nowhere by myself for like 10 laps, and thought that's just the way it was going to happen.
Unfortunately, we may have caught that, and if anybody is going to truly empathize with you on that, it's me. I can't count the number of times I have done that.
Yeah, I mean, I usually don't have a problem, and I practiced a couple times, but I think just because the tires were worn out, that it just made it that much harder.
No, but again, things fell your way, and you got yourself a second place finish tonight that, honestly, that alone has to feel great given, again, you had a few issues, but still.
Yeah, I'll take a second place. I would have liked to win. Before we took the green for the green white checkered, Ryan was at 0.6 or whatever, gallons of gas left. I'm like, when you run out, can you please pull out of the way so we can race by you? I can't believe he finished on that.
Yeah, he said the same thing to us, but a few extra cautions here and there will ultimately make it to where those people that push it a little too far somehow pull off the miracle.
Yeah, but I think with like 12 to go or whatever, I came in pitted, just put 2 more gallons in and some right sides, and I think that helped, drive through the field.
No, still, it was a great run from you tonight. Next week we have Thompson. How do you feel about getting back to short tracks?
Extremely excited because I'm not a fan of anything over a mile, so it'll be right in my wheelhouse, and hopefully I'll be able to, run top 5 and contend for a win.
Gotcha, man. Hey, man, like I said, you ran a really great race tonight. Luck fell in your lap there and on closing laps on that green-white checker. You came home second, man. Congratulations, and look forward to seeing what you can do next week.
Yeah, thank you guys, and I just got to thank Madren Motorsports, for putting this race on. Cross Collision for, putting up for the main sponsor for the street stocks. J&G Hardwoods, Kelly's Custom Engraving, Track Time Entertainment, 5-Star Realty Group, RC2 Race Promotions, Nelms Racing, and Sim Racing Hub, and Ghostfire Media. And also, everyone should try to find Jordan Madren on TikTok because his videos are pretty awesome.
Sounds good, man. We'll see you next week on the track.
Sounds good. Thank you.
User was
All
moved out of
right,
your
and
channel.
finally, who seems to be our standard
to your channel.
Monday night conversation with Mr. Dante Curtis.
How's it going, guys?
Oh, great run from you tonight. We saw you go up to the front, to the back, and then ultimately back onto the podium.
Yeah, we tried to qualify pretty good here. Thankfully, the invert was a 5, so really everybody was gunning for the pole. Wasn't the fastest, but set us up good there for the invert. Started on the front row. Was able to pass Brand there, and for the first part of the race, was able to stay out of all that trouble. It was a lot of trouble going on because we had yellow after yellow after yellow, but finally it come time to come down and take tires, and I didn't know if I needed to take 4 or not, and I got caught in the middle, and the jack stands, or the car stayed up on the jack, so lost a whole bunch of spots there, and then just got stuck on the bottom and just threw out the anchor.
I was trying to figure out what ended up happening there, and unfortunately I know exactly what happened there, and I didn't want to admit to it.
Yeah, we really had the race set up for us. We were going to be able to stay out in front of all the garbage racing happening in the back, and all that, but really screwed ourselves there, and thankfully we were able to kind of make it kind of right there at the end.
Yeah, you had a little close car there that dropped you to the back, and then you dropped from, I think you went from 4th to 7th, and then some good luck came back your way, and you're able to squeeze out a top 3 here, man.
Yeah, we were all kind of really riding. Well, some of us were. Some of us were really, really, really attacking the whole race. So, got caught up there in the wall, and it just sucked me in and stayed up there. And then we got held up there behind the 31, and by the time I got around the 31, they had already opened up and broke the draft on us. And then me and Dustin were kind of riding, and we got into pit stops there and really didn't really gain anything or lose anything there on green flag pit stops. So it was about the best we could hope for, and thankfully just got a couple yellows there at the end. And then thankfully all that stuff happened on the last lap. We was able to squeak by and be able to talk to you guys.
I mean, it's one of those things as we're closing in on the tail end of the season. It's a great way, without winning, to minimize the point differential, considering you're right there in that hunt for the lead. But we're back to short track racing next week, so we know we're probably still going to be chatting with you.
Yeah, thank God we're going back to short tracks. All this big track stuff, it's what makes the league what it is, I guess. But it really makes my chances a lot harder to win. Everybody's a lot more closer and even on these big tracks. So hopefully next week when we go to Thompson, I think it's Thompson. It's going to be basically more of the same as we saw this week. A lot of narrow single file racing. Probably won't be able to go too wide through there, but thankfully getting here towards the end of the season, we can get back to some short tracks, because a lot of these big tracks really helps Ryan. He's really good at these things, especially when it comes to pit strategy and all that. So hopefully we can get back to some short tracks and even it out a little bit.
Well, I'm looking forward to watching it. I'm looking forward to getting back what these cars are made for. And hopefully we'll get chat with you next week after Thompson. But we also know we've got a dirt race coming up, so we know you're in the likelihood for chatting with us then.
Yeah, it's going to be tough there at Bristol. It's going to be a lot of the same, I think. Well, I don't know. Maybe after the track slicks off, the cream will rise to the top there. But best thing is, we're just getting back to short tracks. We're tired of all these big tracks, so hopefully we can get back on track next week and really close up the points battle after missing a race and not having a good run there at Vegas. But I just got to thank all the guys back at DCD Racing for showing up and racing with us tonight. Brandon, Dustin, Dev, Philip. Always really fun to run with them guys. All the league admins for putting this on, besides the one that picked the track for this week. Got to thank Circuit World, Interstate Welding, American Racer South. No, I'm forgetting a whole bunch of guys, but got to thank you guys for putting all this on. Hopefully we'll be up here to talk to you next week.
Sounds great. Enjoy the week, and we'll see you out on track next week.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
User left your channel.
All right. That is going to do it for us here at Ghostfire Media for another Monday night with the North-South Racing League. Make sure have to give a shout out to our sponsors: Cross Collision and Auto Body, J&G Hardwood Flooring, 5 Star Realty Group, Kelly's Custom Engraving. We have Track Time Entertainment, Nelms Racing, and RC2 Race Promotions. So make sure and check us on Ghostfire Media on Wednesday night for the Sim 500 Racing League with Nick and Randy, and Sunday night for the AOLL Cup Series with Larry Patrick. But thank you once again. I'm Josh Laston. That's Adam Wood. Have yourselves a good evening.
Thank you for watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.